And today's seriously messed up. Sorry, I'm going to have to do that again. That was terrible. I haven't thought this through, you know, I just haven't. You know, man, tell ya. Hello, you lovely people of the internet, and welcome to another day of me being seriously messed up. And today's seriously messed up brings you a Tuesday with me in it. And today, right, had an early start, went out to coffee number 1 to meet up with my girlfriend. There would be footage of like B-roll, except I forgot my camera again, because I am a B-roll newbie, and I forget about it. I forget how to B-roll. So that's where we're at, dim B-roll. I went to coffee number 1 with my girlfriend. We met up there. And we were there for about 2.5 hours. So while we were sitting talking, there was also times when my girlfriend had to go to the toilet or buy more coffee for us, messages to deal with on her phone. And so in those spaces, I wrote a piece of poetry. And I'm going to read that at the end of like this video. So watch it to the end for the poetry at the end of the video. Poetry. You see, I've got this. I'm a professional, practically. And so after that, when I got back home, the postie had been. I've had another letter and it's a review. The person who sent the letter, she didn't leave an address, so I've got no way of contacting them again. They haven't said where they're from. We sent this little message. Her name's Ophelia Leg, and she said, aside from like thank you for all, you know, what people do, all the thank yous and the blah blah blahs. Her review is, I was watching one of your videos the other night and I fell asleep. This is good stuff, isn't it? You know, I mean, there's big things coming. You know, when you get a review like that, it means there's going to be more reviews. You know, BBC, The Telegraph, Channel 4 News, the Clacton Herald or whatever it's called. I don't know why I'd be reviewed in that, but you know. I didn't sleep very well last night. That was never going to be a good thing. I've had a really good nap today, about 2 hours. No, that's 2 hours, not 2 hours, they're dogs. And this feels really disjointed to me today. I'm not entirely in the game. Me brain isn't braining, me mouth isn't mouthing, and it is too hot. I'm uncomfortable, I'm thirsty. It's not that I don't want to do this, I don't want to be hot. I just want to be lying on my bed with the nice breeze blowing over me, and perhaps being naked and having the nice breeze blowing over me. I can't really do it on a video. It wouldn't make good video. I wanted to make a joke about it, and I go, no, you know what? I'm not going to make a joke about my fat body, because that self-deprecation, it's okay that it's funny to play that, but I'm not going to make fun of myself like that, because yeah, I'm fat, but I'm also a human being. I have feelings, I genuinely have feelings, and I have an emotional self that I do have to protect. That's why I've come off social media, because I do have to protect myself, and sometimes, like things like this, I have to protect myself from me and the funny things that go on in this thing. This little box of tricks has all its own funny ideas about how it is that I should behave and what I should say and what I should do, what I should look like, how I should think. And I don't want that. I don't want to be subject to the dictatorship of this thing when it wants to like stick the boot into me. Because I'm a nice person, personally. I think fat bodies are hot. I mean, mine literally is hot, but they are soft curves, soft squishy bits. It's all lovely, and we're told, aren't we? We're told by social media, by society, by the little head box things. They say, oh, that's not right. Oh, that doesn't look nice. Oh, that's offensive. It's a horrible thing that we have to live with. There you go, you see, we've got the with again. The return of the with. It's a horrible thing that we have to live up to. within social media, within our society, of like what beautiful looks like, what beautiful behaves like. Women have been fighting this for as long as I've been alive, and probably much longer. Yet we still have it going on. Me being a trans woman is somehow, and I don't want to get into this too much, but I kind of have to. It's where they say like us trans women are, what they have a horrible term for it, like dress up, like we're pretending, like we're wearing a woman costume. And what those people, what those TERFs are doing, the language they are using is the same kind of language of the patriarchy, in saying that a woman should look like this, or a woman should look like that, or a woman should behave like this, or a woman should behave like that. And you know what? I look at me. I've got a skinhead. I'm currently in it's like a black vest dress thing. It's nearly down to my knees. And I had a delivery just before I was recording this. I had a delivery from Amazon. I opened the door to take the package, and the bloke called me love. He straight away identifying me as a woman. There was none of that thing that you think about, where they say, oh, we can always tell. People can't tell, because you know what a woman looks like. A woman looks like a woman. When they say we can always tell, they are talking about people early in transition, and they don't seem to understand. And in fact, no, even early transition is not necessarily, it's just they're the ones that would be more obvious. Because, like for me, for instance, I had 46 years of testosterone doing what testosterone does, thinning me hair, making me big and beefy and strong build. It wasn't strong, it was just strong build. Giving me a deeper voice, and my voice is not that deep. This is my natural voice. I've always talked like this. This is not new. I've always had a kind of like a girly voice, but on the low end of what would be a girly voice, but it's still a girly voice, if you know what I mean. When I say girly voice, you know what I mean. I'm using, these are things, again, we have these terms that we use when we're having a conversation. I'm having a conversation with you, friendly people. People who are not friendly will listen to the words I use and use those against me, as if I'm somehow denigrating what it is to be a woman. And if there was 5,000 women in a room, there's 5,000 different ways of being a woman. That's what it's like. There will be common things, but everyone has their own. Oh, I don't need to explain that to people, do I? You're all smart enough to understand that. The TERF arguments do me head in. This thing of identity, they say, like, some of them genuinely say they don't have identity. They don't understand having a sense of identity. And like the gender identity, it is a social construct. But being a social construct does not stop it from being real. To get rid of it, you would have to change society, which is what they're trying to do. They're trying to erase trans women. And I don't really, I say I don't understand why. And I do understand why. The people who are pushing this are conservative Christians, the right wing, because the whole LGBT thing to them is intolerable, and we are the weak link. They take us down, they can take the rest of the LGBT community down, but first they need to get rid of us. And that's why you see things like LGB Alliance, a charity, and I don't know if this is true, so I'm saying it is mostly populated by middle-aged women, men and women, who are white and straight. Don't know if that's true, because I'm not party to it. I don't mix in those kinds of circles about the people who are gender critical or TERF, so I don't mix in those circles. So I don't really know what that's like. So I can only go from what I've heard. And I'm happy to be corrected on it, And to tie in with this Christian conservative thing that is going on, you're also seeing in this country the rise of fascism and its connections again to to nationalism and to saying we're a Christian country. We're not a Christian country. We have been a Christian country, but we are actually a country of atheists. Most people in the country are atheists, more atheists than Christians, and because of the decline in Christianity, which is just Christianity's thing. And that's why when people come in, and the church is repurposed, the things that seem to make the headlines is when it's repurposed for a mosque, which, if you think about it, just in the simple terms of, it's a Christian building worshipping the Christian God, the Abrahamic God, which is the same God that Muslims talk about. That the interpretations of things around it are different, but we're talking about the same God. So it's a church that's being repurposed for another branch of like people who worship the same God. I can understand why some Christians would be upset about that, but the decline in Christianity is natural because people just aren't swayed by that anymore. You know, it's people don't have that same spiritual life like that anymore. We don't have the church talking down to us anymore. You know, the church used to be the thing that instructed us how to behave, everything we did. It doesn't anymore. We've moved away from that. And some people haven't. And I have no disrespect for any of them. Whatever religion anyone believes in. Even something like the spaghetti monster thing or whatever it is. Whatever people want to believe, if that's what gets them through the day, then I'm good with that. I'm happy that some people have that, and I wouldn't want to take it away from them. And you see these the right-wing groups are talking about Christianity, and they're using it as a weapon, just like they use nationality and flags as a weapon. These things are weapons to trample over people, and we've moved away from that. We moved away from that a long time ago. We still have, because like atheists and you know, the majority of the population, the vast majority, to over-exaggerate an exaggeration, a little bit of a hyperbole. The majority of the population have respect and will respect other people's beliefs, and people can live their own lives without fear of punishment or harassment, and that goes back to we are a tolerant society, and that is the one thing that the fascists and the right-wing conservatives and the Christian conservatives, they do not like that. They don't like that we're welcoming, and they'll call it leftist. Like, oh man, we're just people. We're just people who want to live. We just want to live. Not even a decent life. We just want to live without being harassed. All of us. I think I went on far too much about something that I had no intention of talking about. None of that was on me guidelines. So the things that were on me guidelines for me script have not been covered, which is annoying. I'll just do the poem. But, oh God, I can't even talk properly after all that. I'll just do the poem and shut up. And there's Janet's outside shouting as well. This is me second attempt at it. It's got a lot of iteration in it, and because I'm a git for that, but I like it. In fact, it's called Iteration. It now has a name. It didn't have one nowadays. It's called Iteration. The cut and thrust of well-tempered conversation, bullet point, staccato, pitched battle, silent entrapment, not golden or present. A guarded, somewhat nonchalant sword cuts through the air, and then the duel begins. Rattling off a teleprompter of graceless stolen moments, fixed grins and awkward pauses, inflated, fluffed up surface-level sandpaper to smooth out the splinters that barb and puncture atrophied connections. Blunting the spear-point thrust of blind-bound communication, forced floundering fianchetto phrases, phasing riposte and calmly pacing, treading water, shallow, and a safe canticle, breathy, wind soft and sweet, becalming, cool and comfortable and secure. That second attempt, it wasn't perfect, okay? There's bits where I would go over it again if I could. I was interrupted by the poem police, which you won't hear but that's all for the good, isn't it, you know? I think this is going to be an even worse nightmare to edit than the usual ones because it goes on forever. Thank you for putting up with me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Love yous. Bye.